Hey everyone, so it's Jeff here. I wanted to kind of go over a few of our sales from the month of November. I actually picked out the top 25, so we're going to kind of go through them. We're going to talk about why we pick them up, obviously what they sold for, and then any of the unique features that they had to make them desirable. So, starting off here, we have a vintage Orvis men's sweater. Orvis is usually a pretty good brand to pick up or look out for if you can get it under $5, I would say. The one unique piece to this was these elbow pads here. I guess they're called elbow patches. So anything unique that you see on these clothing items is going to just make it a little bit more desirable. So this actually sold for $35, which is a pretty good score here. So moving on to out of this world Crocs. So Crocs are a big seller for us. If you can get them under $5, just grab them. Like I said on the Orvis sweater, these patterns here, any unique patterns or styles, they're always going to sell a little bit better than the normal ones. So these actually sold for $36 because they had that like unique pattern. All right, next here. So this is some sort of backpack, Nightmare Before Christmas. Um, I think the reason we picked this up is it was probably in the plush section. It looked unique. Had no idea what it was, and then when we looked it up and we saw the tag, obviously Nightmare Before Christmas goes for good money. So you always want to be on the lookout for anything that looks unique, and always, Nightmare Before Christmas usually is a good pickup, or at least you should look it up to see how much it's worth. All right, next here we have a vintage Avarex. I have no idea if that's how you pronounce it. Rhinestone hoodie sweatshirt. This one I think we got in a storage unit. I don't know what Avarex is, to be completely honest. It just kind of had that like Ed Hardy kind of look to it. So we looked it up. Obviously, it was worth something. I think we took like a best offer of $40 on this one, so pretty good price still. Just be on the lookout for anything that kind of looks like that Ed Hardy style. It usually goes for pretty good money. So, all right, next one here is not a clothing item. It is a mug. This is a vintage West Side Lumber train engine coffee mug. So, not all mugs are made unique. I would say for this one, the reason we looked this up and we decided to sell it is because it had a train on it. Trains have a pretty good following. And so, if you see a train on a mug or a plate or basically anything, you might want to look it up because it could be worth money. And then this one also sold for $25. So, pretty good sale. And I think it's vintage too. It looks kind of old. All right, next one here. We are at a Polo Ralph Lauren cable knit pullover. So the keyword here is cable knit. So if you can tell here, if I can try to zoom in here, see this cable knit pattern that goes up and down. So that's a pretty unique design and style you should look out for. It always sells for a premium. I think all of our cable knits have sold over $40. As well as Polo Ralph Lauren, that's always pretty much a win or score or whatever. So yeah, be on the look for cable knit. All right, this next one, kind of interesting here. So this is a Lincoln Park all over print. That's what AOP stands for. It actually was distressed. So you can see here, there's a major hole in the armpit. There is some other armpit holes here. I think there's actually more. Let's see here. Yeah, there's another hole like on the front of the shirt. So I actually picked this up on Whatnot for like $8. It would have gone for a lot more if it didn't have holes in it, but it still sold for $50. So even if you have a shirt and it's vintage and it's old, it could still sell even if there's holes in it. So don't throw it out. Try to list it. So there we go. All right. What is this one? Unhide Lil Marsh Fox Fur Throw. So I think this is like a fake fur, feels like fur, throw a blanket. Excuse me. So the reason we picked this up is because it was brand new. So you can see here, like it's never been used. I think we got this at Goodwill for like $5 or $6. Um, and it sold for $45. So be on the lookout for anything that's new. You can just basically see if I have a picture of the barcode. Well, this one did have a barcode on it, but you can just scan the barcode and then see what the comps are in the eBay app, and it'll tell you. So always be on the lookout for new items. All right, next one here: Patagonia Cinchilla Snap Tee Fleece Pullover Orange. I think this one had a defect too. So this is the crazy part. Patagonia Cinchilla. I think it's like a synthetic chinchilla um, fabric here. So this actually had a pretty big hole here. You can see, um, and it still sold for $50. I think I got this on Whatnot for probably $10. So Whatnot's pretty good for sourcing clothing items. To be completely honest, if you haven't done that, you should try it out. Just don't go overboard like me, because what I ended up doing is I bought a lot of clothes, and now I have to list them all. So I'm having a fun time doing that. All right, next one here: Black Hawk Warrior Operations Tactical Ops Jacket. So there's kind of a style of, I'm going to say, tactical clothing wear. When I first saw this, it obviously says Warrior Wear, Black Hawk. You can kind of tell it's that tactical style. Always want to look out for that style, because this one sold for $55. I've never heard of this brand before, but I knew from just like the style that it might sell. So people are definitely looking for tactical gear, camouflage gear. It sells pretty well, so just keep an eye out. I won't spend too much time on this. This was something that we had for probably a year and a half. This is some sort of kids bed rail. I think there was like five of them at the thrift store, and they're like $3 each. And we've only sold one of them. So wouldn't suggest to pick this up unless you can get it basically for free. Very slow seller, but glad we got our money back and made some profit. So. All right, so these next few are actually patches. They sold to the exact same person. I want to just kind of talk about these a little bit. So we went to Savers. There's a reel that we created that you can take a look at on our YouTube. But basically, what this patch is some sort of like bomb squadron, military, air force. I'm going to show the next ones here. We sold all these to the same person, like I mentioned. So $20, $14, $10, another $14, two of them. I'll go back here. So patches are really good. If you can pick them up for 10, $20 and get a lot of them, just pick them up. Don't even look them up. They're probably worth at least $10 each. So just keep an eye out for patches. I mean, if you can get a lot of them at once, you're bound to find a winner in one of them. So, all right, next one here. So this is a vintage Marlboro Unlimited Train Pocket T-shirt. So this was another pickup on Whatnot. Pretty bad condition. You can see here there's paint marks. I think there's a hole. No, there wasn't a hole, but look at these like stain marks. I actually tried to wash this. I couldn't get this out. I did know that there were stains when I bought this from Whatnot, because this shirt sells for a pretty penny. So I think I bought this for like $15. It sold for 60, so pretty good score there. All right, next one here is a comfy robe. This was brand new with tags. We got this at a flea market actually for $10. I don't know how they were selling it for so cheap. Usually when stuff is new with tags, it goes pretty quickly. So we basically sold it for half of the retail price, which is pretty good. Made about $50 minus some of the fees. So Polo Ralph Lauren, anything unique, robes, always pick it up if you can get it for under $10. All right, so here's a really, really cool one. So we pick up a ton of Polo Ralph Lauren. I would say it's our favorite brand to pick up just because there's so much of it. And so this one here is a Polo Ralph Lauren holiday sweater, Snowflake. Um, this is a vintage tag, so this is a vintage sweater here, and you can just tell from the pattern, right? It's actually, I think, a cable knit as well as like it has that cool horizontal pattern. So that's going to sell for a premium, $65. I'm sure we picked this up for under 10. So these are the things you want to look out for if you're looking for clothes. All right. Next one here, we have some overalls. This is Carhartt. One thing I want to point out here, look at how many stains there are on these overalls. Carhartt, you can basically sell Carhartt with tons of stains, tons of distressing for the same price as what it would be if it had no stains or distressing. People like that look, that worn out look. So if you have Carhartt, just list it, even if it has defects. So, um, as well as like overalls. I mean, that's always a good pickup for Carhartt, especially. All right, this next one is also a Carhartt. Got on Whatnot. It's some sort of jacket. Um, I think this sold like the next day we listed it. Any Carhartt jackets, always pick them up. You can get them for like under 20 bucks. It's always going to be a good pickup just because Carhartt is such a good brand. Um, and if you can find it for a decent price, it's going to sell quickly. So don't be ever afraid of picking up Carhartt. All right, this next one here is pretty unique. I bet you don't know what this is. Kind of looks like a big diaper, but it's not. It is a kite surfing slash windsurfing harness. So we looked this up. I honestly was kind of surprised when we looked this up. We saw it at the thrift store for 10 bucks and we sold it for 70. So we made a pretty good profit here. What was kind of unique about this, it had this like bar here. Any like sports harnesses or anything unique like that. This one looked older too, just had that like vintage look. Always look it up. You're gonna be pleasantly surprised most of the time. So be on the lookout for those. All right, so this next one here. So these are, I'm gonna butcher this name, so sorry. Gobel de Grazia ornaments. So this is a lot of 8 of them. We got like 30 of them from this garage sale for 20 bucks. So we already made a ton of profit just from this sale, and then we sold like I think most, if not all, of the rest of the ornaments that we had. So just keep an eye out for this brand. It seems like it's pretty good if you can get a lot of them or get them each for pretty cheap. This sold pretty fast, and it's not even Christmas time when this sold. I mean, it's kind of getting there, but I think this sold. When did this sell? I think it sold early November. So yeah, early November, getting up to Christmas time, I guess, but um, was kind of surprising at how quickly this sold. So all right, next here. So this is a pretty crazy camouflage suit, I guess you would call it. So I pulled up to a garage sale one day. I saw this on their clothing rack, and I was like, please don't be expensive. This was only $5. And I think we took an offer of like 85 or 90 on this. But literally I picked this up for $5 and sold it for 85. So just a crazy score. Always, always, always pick up camo. You're never gonna go wrong. Um, it's always gonna be a good pickup if you can get it for a good price. So, and this one even had like a little bit of stains on here too. So keep an eye out for that. And then this next one here, so these Naked and Famous jeans, I don't know what it is, but I keep finding this brand new with tags everywhere. I don't know if people buy them and they just don't want to wear them, or it doesn't fit, or I don't know what is going on. But I think I bought this for like $10 at a garage sale, new with tags. And this brand is pretty good, pretty decent. I mean, especially new, it goes for a pretty penny. So this sold for $80. Very happy with that. All right, this next one is kind of odd. Like it's usually not something we would pick up. But I think we got this at the thrift store. It was like $2 for each of these, so like $7 or $8 for all of them, and they're pretty large. But um, these are some sort of like paper mache Thanksgiving figurines. We picked them up because there was a set of them. Usually, when there's a set of something, it's gonna go for a lot better than just like one individual. So just kind of keep an eye on any sets of figurines. I would say if they look unique and if they're in good condition, um, look them up. And here's what the brand is here. So Silvestri. I think we took a best offer of like 90 for those. So happy to see those go. All right, next one here. We're getting up. We got three more to go. The last one is our highest sale, so we're going from lowest to highest here. So this is a Noritake the night before Christmas cookie jar. We pick up tons of cookie jars. I would say if you see a cookie jar that looks unique, just look it up because people go crazy over cookie jars. I don't know if they collect them or what, but this one even had cracks and chips. We picked this up for $3 at a garage sale. So just kind of think about that for a second. Brand new inbox, it had defects, and it sold for 80. So keep an eye out for cookie jars. All right, second to last one. This one is one of my favorites. So we bought this. We were at an estate sale one day, and I think we had it was like fill a bag for $10. We just grabbed a bunch of crap, just threw it in there. Found two sets of these hearing aids. I honestly didn't know what these were when I saw them. Um, but we didn't have batteries, so I had to buy some batteries to test them, and then I made sure that they worked, and they did. And we sold this for $100. And I would say we basically got this for free because we sold a bunch of stuff that we got in that bag as well. But just keep an eye out. If you see these at an estate sale or storage unit or a thrift store or whatever, pick them up. They're so expensive and they go for really good money. You just have to buy one of those small batteries to test it, and it's very easy. So hope that helps someone. All right, so the last one here. So this is a Yukon Extreme Carhartt coveralls. So when I say coveralls, it's kind of like this full suit here. I did pick this up on Whatnot. I probably paid $20, $25. But this is a pretty expensive coverall suit, especially with Carhartt. We've sold so many of these like overalls or winter suits. I think they're pretty expensive new, so people just want to buy them used because they're not going to use them like a ton. But just be on the lookout for Carhartt, especially, and then like if it's a full on suit, those go for good money. So, all right, well that wraps up our top 25 for November. If you've made it this far, really appreciate you chiming in. I really hope this helps someone when they're at a thrift store, estate sale, etc. Be on the lookout for some of these brands so you can make a good profit like us. So. Appreciate you being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks.